I love you, Mina breathed against his back, not knowing if these would be her last words. Jihoon's hand tightened around hers, that same gentle grip from their first night together, when he'd traced circles on her palm, and she'd foolishly thought a man like him could be safe to love. I know, he whispered. The gun went off. But how did a curvy African dancer end up taking a bullet for Seoul's most dangerous mafia boss? How did a man who'd killed 17 people with his bare hands learn to love? Let's rewind to where this impossible love story began, 3 months earlier, in the place where an innocent woman met the devil himself. Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications, because this story of love, betrayal, and revenge is about to take you on a ride you won't forget. I promise you, by the end of this, you'll believe that love can bloom even in the darkest places. Now let's begin. Mina's hips rolled to the Afrobeat rhythm as strobe lights painted her dark skin in shades of purple and gold. Club Noir was packed, but she felt his eyes on her before she saw him. It was like being watched by a predator. When the music stopped and the applause died down, a voice cut through the noise like a blade. You! Come here. She looked up. Kang Ji-hoon sat in the VIP section, legs crossed, expression unreadable. He wore a black suit that probably cost more than her entire year's salary. His presence commanded the room without him saying another word. Mina's friend Zainab grabbed her arm. Don't go. That's Kang Ji-hoon. He's dangerous. I know who he is. Then you know people don't say no to him. Mina pulled away and walked toward him, her heels clicking against the marble floor. When she reached his table, she crossed her arms. You called. He studied her for a long moment. What's your name? Mina. Full name. That's all you need to know. A slight smile tugged at his lips. Bold. I like bold. He slid a black envelope across the table. 1,000,001. One private performance. Tomorrow night. My penthouse. Mina stared at the envelope. 1,000,001 would cover 2 months of her mother's medical bills. But she'd heard stories about what happened to girls who went to private performances for men like him. What kind of performance? She asked. The dancing kind. What did you think I meant? With men like you, I don't assume anything. Ji-hoon stood up, and suddenly she realized how tall he was. He leaned close enough that she could smell his cologne, expensive, intoxicating. Men like me? You don't know anything about me. I know enough. Then you know I don't ask twice. He straightened his cufflinks. Tomorrow, 9 p.m. My driver will pick you up. He walked away, his bodyguards following like shadows. Mina stood there holding the envelope, her heart hammering. Zainab rushed over. Girl, what did he say? He offered me 1,000,001. For what? That's what I'm afraid to find out. The next evening, a black Mercedes pulled up outside Mina's tiny apartment in Itaewon. The driver didn't speak, just opened the door. Mina wore a simple black dress and carried her dancing shoes. She told herself she'd dance, take the money, and leave. Simple. The penthouse was on the top floor of one of Seoul's most expensive buildings. When the elevator doors opened, she stepped into a space that looked like it belonged in a magazine. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the glittering city. Everything was black, white, and chrome. But something was wrong. She heard grunting, then a crash. Following the sound, she found Ji-hoon in his living room, blood soaking through his white shirt. A man in a suit, his bodyguard, she guessed, was trying to help him onto the couch. Boss, you need a hospital, the bodyguard said frantically. No hospitals. No doctors. They'll ask questions. Ji-hoon's face was pale with pain. Then he saw Mina. You're early. You're bleeding, she said stupidly. Observant. He winced as he pressed his hand against his side. You can leave. Come back another time. But Mina didn't move. She'd spent 2 years in nursing school before she had to drop out to make money dancing. Her training kicked in before her common sense could stop her. Move your hand, she ordered, walking toward him. What? Move it. Let me see. Ji-hoon's bodyguard looked shocked. Miss, you can't. Unless you want your boss to bleed out on this very expensive couch, move aside. Mina knelt beside Ji-hoon and peeled back his shirt. The wound was a graze deep, but the bullet had gone through. You're lucky. It missed everything vital. But it needs to be cleaned and stitched. You know how to do that? Ji-hoon asked, his dark eyes studying her face. I know a lot of things. First aid kit? Minjun, get it, Jihoon ordered. The bodyguard rushed off. As Mina worked, cleaning the wound with steady hands, Jihoon didn't make a sound. Most men would be groaning, but he just watched her. Why do you dance? He asked suddenly. Why do you bleed? He almost smiled. Occupational hazard. Same. Dancing makes you bleed? Dancing pays for my mother's cancer treatment. The cancer makes her bleed. So yes, indirectly. She began stitching, grateful her hands weren't shaking. Your turn. What's your occupation? Let me guess. Import-export? Something like that. And people shoot at you because they don't like my business practices. Shocking. When she finished, she sat back. You need antibiotics. And rest. No strenuous activity for at least a week. Jihoon buttoned his shirt, barely wincing. You're more useful than I thought. Happy to help. The million one is still yours. But I have a different proposition now. He stood carefully and walked to his desk, pulling out a folder. I don't need a dancer, Mina. I need someone invisible. Someone my enemies would never suspect. Someone exactly like you. Suspect of what? Someone in my organization is betraying me. Someone close. I need an outsider to attend my events, listen, observe. Be my eyes where mine can't reach. Mina laughed, but there was no humor in it. You want me to spy for you? You're insane. I'm realistic. You need money. I need loyalty. This arrangement benefits us both. And if I say no? Then you walk away with your million one, and we never meet again. He opened the folder and slid it across the desk. Inside were receipts. Hospital bills. All stamped paid in full. Her mother's name at the top. Mina's blood ran cold. What did you do? I paid for your mother's surgery. The one scheduled for next month. The one you've been working 3 jobs to afford. How do you know about that? I know everything about you, Mina Aching. 26 years old. From Nairobi, Kenya. You came to Seoul 3 years ago on a dance scholarship. Dropped out of nursing school when your mother got sick. You work at Club Noir, teach dance classes on weekends, and clean offices at night. You send every spare one home. You're loyal, brave, and desperate. He moved closer. That makes you perfect. She felt violated and terrified and angry all at once. You had no right. I have every right. I bought it. The question is, what are you going to do now? Walk away and let your mother die knowing you could have saved her? Or accept that sometimes survival means dancing with the devil? Mina's hands shook. If I do this, if I say yes, what exactly do you want from me? Attend events with me. Act like my companion. Listen to conversations. Tell me who says what. That's all. That's all? You're asking me to risk my life. I'm asking you to help me save mine. In return, I'll make sure your mother gets the best care in Seoul. I'll pay for everything. And when this is over, I'll give you enough money to go home and never work again. It was too much. Too fast. Too dangerous. But when she closed her eyes, she saw her mother's face, weak and tired from the chemo that wasn't working. 24 hours, she whispered. Give me 24 hours to think. Jihoon nodded. Minjun will drive you home. But as she reached the door, he called out. Mina? She turned. Thank you. For this. He gestured to his bandaged side. You could have left me to bleed. Maybe I should have. Maybe. But you didn't. That tells me everything I need to know about who you are. 24 hours later, Mina called the number on the card Minjun had given her. Jihoon answered on the first ring. Yes or no? She took a deep breath. Yes, but I have conditions. Name them. My mother never finds out what I'm really doing. As far as she knows, I got a scholarship. Done. If things get too dangerous, I'm out. No arguments. Agreed. And you never lie to me. About anything. There was a pause. That's a dangerous condition. Those are my terms. Fine. The truth, always. Starting now, this will be more dangerous than you think. There will be nights you'll want to run. People might get hurt. You might get hurt. Are you sure you can handle this? Mina thought about her mother. About survival. About the fact that she'd been handling impossible situations her entire life. I can handle this. The question is, can you handle having someone around who won't be afraid to tell you the truth? He laughed, actually laughed. We'll see, won't we? Minjun will bring you your new wardrobe tomorrow. First event is Friday night. Wear the red dress. And that's how Mina Aching became the girlfriend of Seoul's most dangerous man. The first event was a charity gala at a five-star hotel. Mina wore the red dress, a stunning piece that hugged every curve and made her feel like someone she didn't recognize. When Ji-hoon picked her up, his eyes widened slightly. "You look uncomfortable." "Perfect." In the car, he briefed her. "Tonight you'll meet my inner circle. My cousin Taewon, my business partner Sungmin, and Seo-yeon, my late brother's widow. Watch them. Listen. People say things when they think you don't matter. And I don't matter?" He looked at her sharply. "You're the dancer, the foreigner, the distraction. They'll dismiss you immediately. That's what makes you valuable." It stung more than it should have. The gala was overwhelming. Crystal chandeliers, champagne fountains, women dripping in diamonds. Mina felt every stare as she walked in on Ji-hoon's arm. She heard the whispers. "Who is she?" "Some dancer he picked up." "She won't last." "They never do." Ji-hoon's hand tightened on her waist. "Ignore them," he murmured. "I'm used to it." But she wasn't used to Seo-yeon. The woman was stunning, porcelain skin, designer dress, perfect makeup. She approached them with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Ji-hoon, you brought a date." "How unexpected." "Seo-yeon, this is Mina." "Mina, this is Seo-yeon. She handles our charitable foundation." Seo-yeon's eyes raked over Mina like she was evaluating merchandise. "A dancer, I heard. How exotic." "Tell me, Mina, do you speak Korean?" Fluently, Mina replied in perfect Korean. "I also speak English, Swahili, and French." "How many languages do you speak?" Seo-yeon's smile tightened. "How charming." "Ji-hoon, we need to discuss the foundation's budget." "Later. It's urgent." "I said later." His tone left no room for argument. Seo-yeon walked away, but not before giving Mina a look that promised trouble. Throughout the night, Mina listened. She heard Taewon complaining about a delayed shipment. Sungmin mentioning a meeting with the park people, said quietly, like it was secret. Seo-yeon on her phone, speaking in hushed tones near the bathroom. When they finally left, Ji-hoon didn't take her home. He drove to a quiet spot overlooking the Han River. "What did you hear?" he asked. Mina told him everything. He listened without interrupting, his expression growing darker. "Sungmin mentioned the parks?" he asked. "Yes." "Why?" "The park syndicate is our biggest rival. If Sungmin is talking to them." He slammed his hand against the steering wheel. "I've known him for 15 years. Maybe it's nothing. Or maybe it's everything." He turned to her. "You did well tonight." "Thanks." "I mean it. You're observant. Quick. They all underestimated you. People usually do. Their mistake." Something shifted in the air between them. Ji-hoon reached out and tucked a stray curl behind her ear. "You should go home. It's late." But neither of them moved. "Why did your brother die?" Mina asked softly. Ji-hoon's expression hardened. "Who said he died?" "Seo-yeon is his widow. That means he's dead. You're too smart for your own good. You promised me the truth." He stared out at the river. "My brother challenged me for control of the organization. My father had just died, and the succession wasn't clear. Hyunwoo thought he deserved to lead. We fought. He lost. You killed him. I defended what was mine. There's a difference." "Is there? In my world?" "Yes." He looked at her. "Does that scare you?" "Everything about you scares me." "Good. Fear keeps you alert. Alert keeps you alive." Over the next few weeks, something unexpected happened. Mina attended more events, gathered more information, played her role perfectly. But the lines between pretending and reality began to blur. She started noticing little things. How Ji-hoon always walked on the street side of the sidewalk. How he memorized her coffee order after she mentioned it once. How he'd show up at her apartment at midnight with food, claiming he happened to be in the area. "You live in Gangnam," she pointed out one night. "I live in Itaewon. That's not in the area. Maybe I like the drive. Or maybe you're checking up on me. Would that bother you?" She should have said yes. Should have kept the boundaries clear. Instead, she said no. "It doesn't bother me." Something flickered in his eyes. "It should." "Why?" "Because I'm getting too close. We both are." "And that's a problem?" "Mina." He set down his food. "This is a business arrangement. When this is over, when I find my trader, you go back to your life and I go back to mine. Is that what you want?" "It's what's safe." I didn't ask what's safe. I asked what you want. He stood abruptly. I should go. But he didn't move. And neither did she. They stood there in her tiny kitchen, the air thick with everything unsaid. What are you so afraid of? Mina whispered. You. This. The fact that every time I'm near you, I forget why this is a bad idea. Maybe it's not a bad idea. It's the worst idea. He stepped closer. You know what I am. What I do. The blood on my hands. I also know you visit children's hospitals on weekends and donate anonymously. I know you're putting 3 of your employees' kids through college. I know you took over your father's empire not because you wanted power, but because you wanted to stop a war. She moved toward him. You're not just the monster they say you are. You don't know that. Then show me. Show me the monster. Prove to me you're as bad as you think you are. He grabbed her face, his control finally cracking. You want to see the monster? I've killed 17 people with my own hands. I've tortured men for information. I've destroyed families, ended bloodlines, burned empires to the ground. I'm my father's son in every way that matters. Are you done? What? Are you done trying to scare me away? Because it's not working. Mina, I've survived poverty, racism, immigration, watching my father die when I was 12, working 3 jobs while putting myself through school, my mother's cancer. You think your darkness scares me? I've been dancing in the dark my whole life, Jihoon. The difference is, I'm not afraid of it anymore. He stared at her, something breaking behind his eyes. I can't offer you a normal life. I don't want normal. I want real. If you stay in my world, you'll become a target. I'm already a target. The moment I walked into your life, I became one. So stop trying to protect me from choices I've already made. You don't know what you're saying. I'm saying I'm falling for you, you idiot. And it terrifies me just as much as it terrifies you. But I'm not running. The question is, are you? For a long moment, he just looked at her. Then he pulled her against him and kissed her, desperate, fierce, like he was drowning and she was air. Mina kissed him back with everything she had, her hands in his hair, her heart pounding so hard she thought it might burst. When they broke apart, both breathless, Jihoon pressed his forehead against hers. I'm terrified, he whispered. I'm terrified because everyone I've ever loved has been taken from me. My mother, my brother, despite everything. Even my father, in a twisted way. I'm terrified because if something happened to you, nothing's going to happen to me. You can't promise that. No, but we can be terrified together. Isn't that what love is? Being scared out of your mind, but choosing to stay anyway. He laughed, the sound broken and beautiful. When did you become so wise? I've always been wise. You were just too busy brooding to notice. He kissed her again, softer this time. This changes everything. I know. My enemies will come for you. Let them try. Mina, I'm serious. If people know you matter to me, then we make sure we're always one step ahead. She cupped his face. You're not alone in this anymore. You have me. And I'm a lot more dangerous than I look. I'm starting to realize that. They spent that night talking until dawn about everything and nothing. Jihoon told her about his mother, who'd loved classical music and gardening. About how his father had raised him to be hard, unfeeling, perfect. About the weight of inheriting an empire built on blood. Mina told him about Kenya. About dancing in the streets for coins as a child. About her father's laugh and her mother's strength. About the loneliness of being in a foreign country where people saw her skin before they saw her. I see you, Jihoon said quietly as the sun rose. Every part of you. And you're the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Even more beautiful than your car collection? He smiled. Don't push it. But the peace didn't last. If you're loving this story, do me a favor right now. Drop a comment telling me whose side you're on. Are you Team Mina for being brave enough to love a dangerous man, or Team Jihoon for trying to protect her? And smash that like button because things are about to get intense. 3 days later, everything fell apart. Mina had just finished teaching a dance class when Minjun called her, his voice panicked. Miss Mina, you need to get to Seoul National Hospital. Now. Her blood turned to ice. My mother. Just come. Quickly. She ran. Took a taxi, didn't even bother changing out of her dance clothes. When she burst into the hospital, Jihoon was already there, talking urgently with doctors. His face was grim. What happened? Mina demanded, grabbing his arm. Where's my mother? A doctor approached, his expression grave. Miss Ah-ching, your mother is stable now, but there was an incident. Someone tampered with her 4 medication. We caught it in time, but if the night nurse hadn't noticed the unusual discoloration in the line, the world tilted. Mina grabbed the wall for support. Someone tried to kill her. Ji-hoon's voice was ice. They know. Someone knows you're important to me. Mina spun on him, fury and fear warring in her chest. You said this would be safe. You promised. I know what I said. He ran his hand through his hair, his composure cracking. I'll fix this. I'll move your mother to a private facility with armed guards 24/7. You'll stay away from us, Mina said, tears streaming down her face. This is exactly what you warned me about. Everyone you care about becomes a target. Well, my mother almost died tonight because of you. Because of me. Because I was stupid enough to believe we could have something normal. Mina, please. No. We're done. Keep your money. Keep your protection. Just leave us alone. She turned toward her mother's room, then stopped. You were right. Love in your world is a death sentence. I should have listened. She walked away, and this time, Ji-hoon let her go. But he didn't leave. He stationed guards outside the hospital, put his best people on finding who'd ordered the hit. And every night for a week, he sat in his car outside the hospital, watching Mina's silhouette in the window, making sure she was safe. Min-jun found him there on the 7th night. Boss, you can't keep doing this. Watch me. She told you to stay away. I am staying away. I'm just staying away from a distance. That makes no sense. Nothing about this makes sense. Ji-hoon's voice was raw. She's supposed to be a job. A means to an end. But I'd burn this entire city down to keep her safe. Then tell her that. I can't. As long as I'm in her life, she's in danger. Her mother almost died, Min-jun. Because of me. No, because of whoever's betraying you. There's a difference. Ji-hoon leaned his head back. Is there? But while Ji-hoon watched from the shadows, Mina was doing her own investigating. She'd spent weeks listening, observing, piecing together information. And she'd finally figured it out. On the 8th night, she marched out of the hospital and straight to Ji-hoon's car. She yanked open the door. You've been sitting here all week, she said. I'm keeping watch. While keeping your distance. Very noble. She slid into the passenger seat. I know who your traitor is. His head snapped toward her. What? It's Seo-yeon, your brother's widow. She's been feeding information to the park syndicate. How do you? The night of the gala, I heard her on the phone. She mentioned a warehouse on the east side. 2 days later, your east side warehouse was raided. At the museum benefit, she talked about the shipment on Tuesday. Your Tuesday shipment was intercepted. I didn't connect it at first, but after what happened to my mother, I started putting pieces together. Ji-hoon stared at her. You've been investigating while I thought you were just staying away from me? I'm capable of multitasking. She crossed her arms. She's planning something big. I heard her tonight in the hospital chapel. She thought no one was around. She was on the phone talking about tomorrow night and finishing it. Tomorrow night I have a meeting with the park syndicate. To negotiate peace. It's a trap. I know. I've known for days. That's why I've been preparing. Preparing for what? To end this. All of it. He turned to her. I'm walking into that meeting knowing it's a trap. My people will be positioned everywhere. When the parks make their move, we'll be ready. By tomorrow night, this war will be over. And Seo-yeon? We'll get the justice my brother never did. Let me help. Absolutely not. Ji-hoon. No. I already almost got you and your mother killed. I'm not putting you in more danger. I'm already in danger. We established this. So stop trying to protect me and let me help end the threat. She grabbed his hand. I can get close to Seo-yeon. She thinks I'm out of your life. She'll talk to me. It's too risky. Everything about us is risky. But I'm done sitting on the sidelines. She squeezed his hand. Let me do this. Let me help you finish this so we can actually have a chance. He studied her face for a long moment. You're the most stubborn woman I've ever met. Is that a yes? It's a, if anything happens to you, I'll never forgive myself. I'll take it. The next evening, Mina approached Seo-yeon in the hospital chapel. Can we talk? Seo-yeon looked up surprised. Mina, I heard about your mother. I'm so sorry. Are you? Mina sat down beside her. Because I've been thinking. Ji-hoon warned me this would happen. That being close to him would make me a target. I should have listened. You ended things with him? I had to. My mother almost died. I can't. I can't do this anymore. Seo-yeon's expression softened or pretended to. You made the right choice. Ji-hoon destroys everything he touches. Trust me, I know. Your husband. Yes. Seo-yeon's voice hardened. Ji-hoon killed him in cold blood. And he'll never face justice for it. Men like him never do. Unless someone makes them. Seo-yeon's eyes sharpened. What do you mean? I mean, I know things. About Ji-hoon's business. His meetings. His plans. Mina leaned closer. And I'm angry enough to want revenge. For a moment, Seo-yeon just stared at her. Then she smiled. Tell me more. Mina fed her false information details about a meeting that wasn't happening, locations that would be empty. And all the while, Ji-hoon's people recorded everything. But Seo-yeon was smarter than they'd thought. That night, as Mina sat with her mother, Seo-yeon appeared in the doorway. With a gun. You're a clever girl, Mina, she said, closing the door behind her. Too clever. That's the problem. Mina stood slowly, her heart racing. What are you doing? What I should have done weeks ago. You see, this whole thing has been quite entertaining. Ji-hoon brought you in to find his traitor, never suspecting that his traitor already knew. I've been watching you, listening to your reports to him, staying one step ahead. She smiled coldly. Did you really think you could fool me? I invented this game. The Parks are making their move right now. While Ji-hoon's at the warehouse expecting an ambush, they're actually hitting his real operations across the city. By dawn, the Kang organization will be in ruins. And you're the perfect final message to send him. Why? What did he do to deserve this? Seo-yeon's face twisted with rage. He killed my husband. Hyun-woo went to him unarmed, wanting to talk, to find a peaceful solution to the succession. And Ji-hoon shot him in an alley like a dog. Left him to bleed out alone. Her voice broke. I loved him. And Ji-hoon took him from me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But killing me won't bring him back. No, but it will destroy Ji-hoon. And that's enough. She raised the gun. The door burst open. Ji-hoon stood there, flanked by Min-jun. His own gun was already drawn, his face a mask of cold fury. Step away from her, Seo-yeon. Seo-yeon grabbed Mina, pressing the gun to her temple. Don't move or I'll kill her right here. You won't. Won't I? I've already lost everything because of you. Ji-hoon's eyes met Mina's. She saw fear there, raw, real fear. But also trust. He trusted her to be strong. To survive this. You want revenge? Ji-hoon said, his voice deadly calm. Take it from me. Not her. She's innocent. Innocent? The moment she fell in love with you, she became guilty. The moment you fell for her, you signed her death warrant. Mina felt Ji-hoon's presence like a physical force. Even across the room, even with a gun to her head, she felt safe because he was there. If you pull that trigger, Ji-hoon continued, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper, there won't be anywhere in this world you can hide. I will find you. And what I did to my brother will look like mercy. Always so cold. So controlled. But not with her, right? Seo-yeon pressed the gun harder against Mina's temple. She's your weakness. Finally, after all these years, you have something to lose. How does it feel? It feels like the best and worst thing that's ever happened to me. Ji-hoon lowered his gun slightly. You're right. She's my weakness. Which means I'll burn this entire city down if you hurt her. So you have two choices. Let her go and I'll give you a 10-minute head start to disappear. Or pull that trigger and find out exactly how much of my father's monster I really am. Mina's heart hammered. She could feel Seo-yeon's hand trembling. The woman was spiraling, unpredictable. You know what I realized? Seo-yeon said, her voice breaking. You'll live with this guilt forever. Knowing that loving her made her a target. Every person in your life becomes a death sentence. She'll never be safe. Never be free. You've trapped her in your world of blood and violence. That's my choice to make, Mina said suddenly, her voice steady despite the gun at her head. Not his. Not yours. Mine. You stupid girl. You think love is enough. No. I think love plus courage is enough. And I'm done being afraid. In one swift motion, Mina dropped her weight and twisted. Ji-hoon fired. Seo-yeon's gun went off. Time seemed to stop. Mina felt the bullet graze her shoulder, hot, sharp pain. But Seo-yeon dropped Minjun's bullet in her leg. Guards swarmed the room, disarming her, restraining her. Seo-yeon was screaming about Hyunwoo, about justice, about revenge. But Mina barely heard it because Ji-hoon was there, his hands on her face, her shoulders, checking for injuries. Are you hurt? Where did she hit you? Just grazed me. I'm okay. You're bleeding. I'm okay, she repeated, grabbing his hands. I'm okay. He pulled her against his chest, his whole body shaking. Don't ever do that again. Don't ever put yourself in danger like that again. You do it all the time. That's different. How? Because I'm not in love with me. Despite everything, the pain, the fear, the chaos, Mina laughed. You're not in love with yourself? That's shocking. He pulled back to look at her, his eyes wet. This isn't funny. A little funny. Mina, I love you too, she whispered. I love you so much it terrifies me. But I'm not running. Not now. Not ever. He kissed her then, desperate and gentle all at once. When they broke apart, paramedics were rushing in to treat her shoulder and Seo-yeon's leg wound. As they waited, Ji-hoon held her hand. The Parks. Minjun approached, ending a call. Neutralized. Your counter-operation worked. They walked right into our trap. It's over, boss. The war's over. Ji-hoon closed his eyes briefly. Casualties. Minimal on our side. The Parks, less so. And Sungmin was never a traitor. Seo-yeon had set him up to look guilty. He's already clearing his name. Ji-hoon nodded, processing. Then he turned back to Mina. This is my life. This chaos. This violence. Even with the war over, there will always be another threat. Another enemy. Another danger. I know. Are you sure you can handle this? Mina thought about everything they'd been through. The fear. The violence. The impossible love that had grown in the middle of it all. Ask me again in 60 years, and I'll let you know. He smiled, that rare, genuine smile she'd fallen in love with. Deal. 6 months later, the Kang organization had restructured. Ji-hoon was slowly transitioning the business toward legitimacy, investing in real estate, technology, entertainment. It would take years to wash away his father's bloody legacy, but he was trying. And Mina was beside him every step of the way. She opened her dance studio in Gangnam, a bright, beautiful space where she taught Afrobeat fusion to students of all backgrounds. But she also sat in on Ji-hoon's business meetings, offering perspectives his men never would have considered. She was his partner in every sense of the word. Today was special, though. Today, they were getting married. The ceremony blended Korean and Kenyan traditions. Held in a garden overlooking Seoul, with both their families present. Mina's mother was there, healthy and smiling, tears in her eyes. Ji-hoon's organization, the good people who'd stayed through the transition, filled the seats. Mina wore a white hanbok with intricate Kenyan beading woven into the fabric. Ji-hoon wore a traditional Korean suit with a Masai shawl draped over his shoulders. When it was time for vows, Ji-hoon took her hands. His were trembling slightly. I've done a lot of terrible things in my life, he began, his voice carrying across the garden. I've hurt people, destroyed things, become the monster my father raised me to be. But then you walked into my world with your courage and your fire, and you changed everything. You made me want to be better. You made me believe I could be more than my worst actions. You saw the man beneath the monster, and you chose him anyway. His voice broke. I love you, Mina Aching. And I will spend every day for the rest of my life proving I'm worthy of the choice you made. Mina squeezed his hands, her own eyes wet. You asked me once if I could handle your size of problems, your life, your world. You tried to scare me away to keep me safe. But what you didn't understand is that I've never needed saving. I needed a partner. Someone brave enough to let me stand beside them instead of behind them. Someone who trusts me to be strong. She smiled through her tears. You gave me that. You saw me not as a dancer, not as a foreigner, not as someone to protect, but as an equal. I love you, Kang Ji-hoon. And I will dance through every storm with you for the rest of our lives. When they kissed, their guests erupted in applause and cheers. Later, at the reception, as Mina taught an impromptu dance lesson to some of the guests, Ji-hoon watched from the sidelines. Minjun appeared beside him with champagne. You did good, boss. I got lucky. You both did. Minjun paused. You going to tell her? Tell her what? That you found the pregnancy test in the bathroom this morning. Ji-hoon smiled into his champagne. She'll tell me when she's ready. And if it's positive? Then our adventure just got a lot more interesting. As if sensing his thoughts, Mina caught his eye across the crowd. She smiled, that brilliant, fearless smile that had captured him from the first moment. She mouthed, "I love you." He mouthed back, "I know." That night, in their penthouse, after all the guests had left and the city glittered below them, Mina finally told him, "I'm pregnant." Ji-hoon pulled her onto the terrace, wrapping his arms around her from behind. "I know." She turned in his arms. "You know? How?" "I pay attention. You've been tired. Nauseous in the mornings. You haven't had wine in 3 weeks. And I may have found the test this morning." She smacked his chest. "You went through the bathroom trash?" "I'm thorough. You're nosy." He placed his hand on her still flat stomach, his expression full of wonder. "How do you feel about it?" "Terrified. Excited. Overwhelmed." She covered his hand with hers. "Your world is safer now, but it's still not completely clean. Are we crazy for bringing a child into this?" "Probably. But we're crazy together." He turned her to face him. "Our child will grow up knowing both worlds, yours and mine. They'll have your courage and my stubbornness. They'll speak Korean and Swahili. They'll understand that family isn't about blood or borders, but about who you choose to love." He kissed her forehead. "And they'll be so loved they won't know what to do with it all." "Can you handle this size of responsibility?" she teased. He laughed. "Can you? Watch me." And as souls sparkled beneath them, as their baby grew inside her, as their impossible love story continued to unfold, they held each other. Two people from different worlds who'd found home in each other. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do isn't running from the storm. It's learning to dance in the rain. And they were just getting started. So there you have it, loves. The story of how a curvy African dancer brought a Korean mafia boss to his knees, not with weakness, but with strength. Not with submission, but with partnership. Not by changing who she was, but by being exactly herself. If this story touched your heart, show me some love right now by smashing that like button. Drop a comment telling me what you'd name their baby. I'm reading every single one, and I might even use your suggestion if I continue their story. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you even waiting for? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because I've got more Afro-Korean romance stories coming that will have you crying, laughing, and believing in love again. Should I make a part 2? Do you want to see Mina and Ji-hoon navigate parenthood while dealing with the remnants of his father's empire? Do you want to see their baby grow up? Let me know in the comments because I write these stories for you. Until next time, remember, love knows no borders, courage comes in all sizes, and sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is choose to stay when everyone expects you to run. I'll see you in the next story. Keep dancing through your storms, beautiful people.